Another one of our hemp headlines. This one we talked about last show, but it's also deserves repeating, and that's Barney Frank's bill that just got introduced in Congress. Congressman Barney Frank has introduced House Resolution 5843, and this is the act to remove federal penalties for personal use of marijuana by responsible adults. Finally, for the first time since the 1980s, Keith Stropp told us since 1984, we've got a bill in Congress that would end penalties on the federal level for the adult responsible use of marijuana. The bill recognizes possession up to 100 grams of marijuana. That's 3.5 ounces of marijuana that any adult would be able to possess in the United States, in any state, without any federal repercussions. It also adds on no penalty for the nonprofit transfers of marijuana up to 1 ounce. So we want to encourage everyone to get on the phone and call Congress. Call all of our representatives here, Blumenauer and Wu, DeFazio, Hooley, and that other fella.
Walden.
Walden, thank you. Some of his names always escapes me, maybe because he keeps voting against our issues. But call your federal representative at 202-224-3121. That's 202-224-3121. You can call your representative and tell them you want them to support H.R. 5843, the bill to end penalties for adult marijuana possession in federal law. Also, you can get that information on our website at ornormal.org. That's ornorml.org/contact, and you can find contact information for your federal and state representatives out there as well. Another story that broke this week that was kind of sad to report is the death of the father of LSD, Albert Hofmann, who passed away in Switzerland at the ripe old age of 102 years old. You know, it always does my heart good when someone who used drugs and is well known for having used drugs that are considered so dangerous lives to be 102. I mean, Albert Hofmann dies at 102. Willie Nelson celebrated his 75th birthday the other day, so goes to show you something, doesn't it? Now, Albert Hofmann accidentally kind of discovered LSD. He was synthesizing ergot, which is a type of rye fungus, back in 1938. You know, they had discovered penicillin and other very helpful drugs through these types of research. And in 1943, he accidentally ingested this, and he the next day took a very heavy dose, 200 micrograms, which is a pretty heavy dose of LSD, on what they call Bicycle Day. April 19th, 1943 was the first human trip. The first recorded one. I'm sure people had been tripping many times, but the first trip on LSD, April 19th, 1943, when he took 200 micrograms of acid and went on a bicycle ride. And he writes about that in his book, his 1979 book, My Problem Child, which is all about LSD. And he was a big proponent of the psychotherapeutic uses of psychedelics. He thought they had great potential in connecting people to nature and connecting people to their fellow man. And so Albert Hofmann passed away at 102 and a great pioneer in medicine. And you know, this is just, again, like I say, when people live to be that long, it just gives lie to all the lies propagated by our government.
Especially somebody like him, because he was somebody, like you say, you know, he believed they would help people connect to nature, which was great, which is we need more of in our society.
Yeah.
And he also was a believer in responsible use, just like we here at Oregon NORML believe in responsible use. He believed in responsible use.
Yeah, he had written that he didn't think that people should take acid trips more than once a decade. He said that would be enough to connect you.
Yeah, and he had like a maximum number in your life. I mean, no more than like 20 in a lifetime, I think it was.
Yeah, and this was differentiated by some of the other pioneers in psychedelics at the time. You know, Timothy Leary being the famous one with the tune in, turn on, drop out, where they thought that, you know, the acid trip in itself was the important part. Hofmann was more of the spiritual. It needed to have cultural controls, and it needed to be respected and revered.
Yeah, and from his research background, you needed somebody there to help you.
A babysitter.
Because even on his bicycle ride, he had a lab assistant go with him.
Yes.
Make sure that he was okay.
Again, it's all about being responsible. That's what we always encourage here at Oregon NORML. All right, well, we got a special